Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond the Campground, E3 Camping's official video podcast. And today we have an exciting guest with us. His name is Daryl. He runs, a website called wanderingfun.com. And we're going to chat with him for a little bit to discuss, how he started RVing, what he loves about RVing and camping, what he hates about the industry, what he'd like to see happen with the industry, and possibly what the future might hold for RVers and campers and boondockers and all the exciting things that go on with the wild world of RVing. So that being said, Daryl, welcome.
Thanks, Josh. Glad to be here.
All right, so let's chat a little bit. You run a website called Wandering Fun. You are an avid RVer and camper. So let's chat a little about how you started. How did you get your start in RVing?
Well, it kind of started with camping before RVing. So we had the kids in Cub Scouts and we're tent camping and decided, oh, let's stop sleeping on the ground every time we want to go camping. And we went RV shopping and started with our first one being fitted to our existing tow vehicle, which was only a Toyota Highlander, and went and got a hybrid. It's about 20 feet long, but it had 3 tip-out beds that were queen-sized. So for us, 3 kids and a dog, it worked. It didn't have any slide-outs. It got kind of tight in there at times. We had a lot of fun, though, and we even have our neighbors next door here on the home front also have 3 kids. And there were 10 of us in there once. Wow. So more than once, I would say. So we made it work and had a blast with that camper. And then we had another one after that. Hurricane Ian, unfortunately, took care of that one. And now we're on our 3rd camper in 4 or 5 years.
Wow. Do you think that it's common for people to upgrade their campers and RVs every couple of years, or do you generally see people who will buy one and then keep it until it pretty much falls apart?
I kind of see a mix of both. There are some folks who will make them last for ages. There are others who, like us, may choose something that fits at the time and then choose something better that suits them better in a short period afterwards. So we really, within the first year, we were shopping because A, RV shopping is fun for us, and B, it felt really small. And in that situation, I work remote. I can work anywhere, but it was difficult to work there in that setup in that RV. So our next one, we went from small to huge, and it was a 38-footer travel trailer with 3 slide outs, and I kind of set myself up in the front master bedroom. That was my office. So I think different reasons will be cause, or a lack of reasons will be cause for how you see that in 2 different ways, 2 different groups of people.
Yeah, and that's interesting. The people who do decide to be full-time RVers or full-time campers and live out of their RV, they learn pretty quickly that you need something with more space versus just being cramped up in something that's a lot smaller. Because when you take that jump into being a full-time RVer, especially when you're living in a house or an apartment or whatever, you realize pretty quickly how cramped and small things can get when you are working full-time out of an RV.
Definitely. Yeah, so, and everyone's situation is different too. With 3 kids and a dog, we really wanted something bigger. That one, we at that point, I said, look, if we're going to upgrade, let's do it and be done. So that one really could have suited us for a very long time. I think so. Aside from the issues we had with it, that's a whole other story. But then the hurricane taking care of it, totaled it. So we could have had that one for 5 or 10 years. Who knows?
Right. Wow. All right. So before we go on, for those who are watching, Daryl is actually one of E3 Camping's official ambassadors. He's part of our ambassador team, and you can see on the screen, if you go to e3camping.com/wanderingfun and sign up, you can help Daryl by helping him build himself as a brand ambassador within the company. And if you use the promo code that's scrolling on the screen, E3 Team VIP, you can get 25% off of a camping membership. And you can use that promo for any of our other brands if you'd like to add on additional licenses. So E3 Off-Road, Overland, Aviation, Firearms. You can use that code for basically anything, any type of membership, whether it's any of our tiers from light, standard, premium, or monthly or annual. So definitely sign up. You do help out Daryl, and you get an awesome deal, an awesome promo to sign up to be a member, and you get access to so much as an E3 member, from 200 courses and lessons to magazines to articles to tools to events to checklists to the big community, just a whole lot of things that are exciting and impressive and really helps you out as an RVer, whether you're new or seasoned. So that being said, Daryl, you've been RVing obviously for a long time. You've learned how to fix and adjust and maintain your camper and RVer. What are some of the things that you've learned over the years as being an experienced RVer?
Well, things break, and having patience to do the troubleshooting, if you can do that and fix things yourself, makes a big difference. And the alternative to that is take it to the dealer. And I have a friend who has an RV that's been in a dealer for, I think, 3 months total now,
Wow.
and it bought it less than a year ago. And unfortunately, the dealers, whether it be they're overwhelmed or they're poor at scheduling or have short staff, however it winds up, every time I hear of anybody, and us included, when we had ours into a dealer, it takes a long time to get things done. Sometimes we had an instance where we made an appointment. I expected to, since I made an appointment and it was weeks out, take it in and have it looked at promptly, at least to begin the warranty process. They sat on it for a week or two after the appointment before they even looked at it.
Wow.
And that's the point where I took it back and I started talking to the manufacturer myself about how to get it fixed. So
Why
be
do
your
you
own
think
best
that
friend.
is? Do you think it's just because it's a lack of trained personnel, or just because they're so busy with other customers? What are your thoughts on that?
It's hard to say. We have dealt with the manufacturers directly on all three of our RVs after also dealing with dealers. And it's hard to say because we've never had one left at a dealer for a long period of time. So I don't have a lot of experience or a lot of visibility, but I would guess that it's got to be a lack of personnel,
Hmm.
planning and time management or estimating on their part. And could be really the number, because since COVID, tons and tons of RVs were sold.
Yeah.
And I think that that's cooling off, or has been cooling off for a little while now. But that's, over that first year, second year, things are going to break. And sometimes they're big and you may not be able to fix it yourself. So off to the dealer. Or maybe you're 60, 70 years old, you've got a rig, you enjoy it, but that thing breaks. You're not in a position to fix it yourself.
Sure.
So there are a lot of reasons. It's unfortunate, but it hasn't stopped us from loving it. So
Yeah. We saw that too, like during COVID, the height of COVID, so many people, it was just like an explosion of people who wanted to get into camping and RVing, because that was really the only thing that you could do for fun. You were stuck at home and there wasn't anything really to do. You couldn't go anywhere. So we saw so many people buying RVs and going out to campsites and even building their own campsites. And one of the things that we've seen over the past few years is that not just families who are getting into RVing or older people, but a lot of younger and new people are getting into it. A lot of millennials, a lot of Gen Z, they're trying their hands at it. And what's wild is that a lot of times when people buy their RVs, they're not trained, or they don't get any type of information on how to fix stuff. So having people like you who are experienced and understand it, and then obviously platforms like E3 Camping that can teach people how to properly set up and how to get ready and how to transport and how to fix things and how to empty your tanks and all that, it's super, super critical, because of the fact that when someone buys something from a dealer or even from a manufacturer, they don't really get that education element or that info on what to do if something goes wrong.
Right. And not just in fixing it, but sometimes they don't get training on how to use it from the get-go.
Yeah, yeah,
Or certain aspects that really were left out of that little bit of training. So our first one, we were fortunate. We had somebody who was really good at explaining everything and really went over just about everything on that short, small 20-foot box that didn't have any slide outs. But that's totally different than the next one we had with 3 slide outs and some other stuff. So E3 is a great resource, and that's part of why I wanted to join the team, because there are a lot of people that need help, and it's a
yeah.
great resource for it. And I'm all about helping people, whether it's to go and buy an RV, what you've got to know and look for, and questions to ask, or how to fix little things, or how to make mods and hacks and just change it up a little bit to work for you. I'm all about that.
The other thing too with COVID is that we've learned as a society, as human beings, that more and more people, they crave that social element, that community element. So a lot of people, they buy their RVs and campers and they go to campsites so that they can meet other people. How many times have you gone to a campground and you've set up and you're ready to go, and then your neighbor comes over with a beer and introduces themselves to you, and you end up becoming like lifelong friends because you met at a campground, people who share the same passions with each other and are into that community and social element. That's what RV and camping is all about. Whether you're doing it as a solo RV or with a family or friends or whatever, everybody comes together so that they can share their experiences and stories and fun times, and just have that collaboration with each other to really enjoy what it is about RVing.
Yeah, yeah, and it kind of feels like, this is our situation, this is our house, this is wherever we're at, this is what we've got, and this is what we have to work with. And if something goes wrong, that's it. And so that feeling, I think, among people is what also can lend to being helpful to each other more than you see in other places and situations sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.